savage surprise attack by two chimps on an American graduate student.
He's killing my friend!
Who's killing your friend?
My chimpanzee!
Conservatives will depict nature as a place of combat and competition, but it's just a conservative projection of their ideology on nature. Many anthropologists were extremely unhappy with the bonobo and tried to marginalize them because their story of human evolution doesn't turn around peace, it turns about warfare and male bonding.
Give us some examples of animal behavior that prove this kind of inherent morality in species.
Chimpanzees, for example, if someone is distressed because they have been attacked or they've seen a snake or whatever it is, then others come over and embrace them, kiss them and calm them down. But empathy is absolutely central. How could you have a moral system in human society if you don't particularly care about people? I feel that if we recognize the sentience of animals, there's an obligation to treat them better.
Love! Another kind of aspect in which nature is used for what I would call kind of slightly right-wing reactionary views is as it relates to homosexuality and nature, and a lot of what you've written about is the denunciation of that. So can you tell us a little bit about your work with bonobos and why an argument that homosexuality is unnatural is basically crap?
Yeah. The bonobos, I would estimate 3/4 of their sexual activity has nothing to do with reproduction. It's all about social relationships. And so male, female, male youngster, female youngster, everything is possible. And they do that. And they have a very peaceful society as a result, which is interesting, I think. More sex, more peace. But now there are studies coming out also on chimpanzees and some other species. There are more and more studies coming out on homosexual behavior in other species. It's actually very common. It's usually not exclusive. Exclusive homosexuality doesn't really exist much in animals, I think, except in a few species. But in humans, we force people culturally to declare themselves this or that. So we force them in little boxes. But I'm not sure that most people fit these boxes. Even people who say that they are homosexual and that's all they are, I'm not sure they are 100% homosexual. And the same for heterosexuals. People say they're heterosexual. I'm not sure they have no erotic feelings for fellow men or fellow women. I'm not sure about that. And so Alfred Kinsley, the pioneer of sexology, he didn't believe that these boxes really existed. They were sort of a fabrication.
But do you think they serve, in terms of a cultural politics, do you think they serve a helpful function in terms of identifying people into categories, or do you think we should be looking at more the erasure of categories and the normalization of people who would otherwise be considered largely heterosexual to, for example, have one homosexual relationship and so on?
Yeah. In the primates, there's a high level of tolerance. And of course, they don't label themselves. They're not symbolic. So they don't say, I'm this or I'm that. But there's an enormous level of... I've never actually heard that an individual who is more homosexual than heterosexual is ousted from a group or is attacked for that. So we could learn from that. And I think all these identity politics of I'm this and I'm that and I'm such and I'm so is not really productive, I would say. What we need is a society who cares less about these labels.
Yeah, I mean, why do you think there's such a... Well, often, at least in my experience, people who espouse beliefs against homosexuality base their argument in nature. So there's this argument, well, this fallacy where one appeals to nature, and it's so interesting to me that even that is wrong. Even in nature, we can see that homosexuality and bisexuality occurs without any kind of I would say cultural nurturing. Although although, as you've pointed out, that even within non-human animal societies, there is this mix of society and biology. So the nature-nurture occurs even in non-human animals.
Yeah. We humans have a tendency to project our ideology on nature and then take it out and say that's where it comes from. So, for example, conservatives will depict nature as a place of combat and competition and selfishness. During the Reagan and Thatcher years, that's how nature was depicted. Greed was good, selfishness was good, because it all came from nature. But it's just a conservative projection of their ideology on nature. Because you find...
Sorry to interrupt, but I think it came because of chimps, right? Because people have this bias towards chimps, which are, I think, a bit more aggressive. So that made people think of humans as more aggressive.
Yeah, and that's why they didn't like the bonobos. The bonobos are equally close to us as chimps. And when they came along and we said the females are dominant and they're peaceful and they have a lot of sex, many anthropologists were extremely unhappy with the bonobo and tried to marginalize them because their story of human evolution doesn't turn around peace. It turns about warfare and male bonding. So they had no room for the bonobo. Fortunately that's changing because there's more and more women anthropologists also. So that whole field has changed now.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the episode. I just wanted to drop you in a word from our sponsor Manscaped. You can use the discount code LOAF to get your discount, because even a lion needs to tame its mane.
Get the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra from Manscaped now. Stay fresh with no cuts, so that your baguette leaves no crumbs.
Hey guys, we really hope you enjoyed that episode with Dr. Frans de Waal. If you'd like to see another episode just like this one, you can click right up here. Take care.